right? If you have the urge to write the trans characters or whatever, do write them, but have some sensitivity towards it. But don't tell stories which are not yours to tell. That's the only thing that I would sort of say, because it's so tropified, right? Ki, you just lose nuance out of it. I feel different people might think differently about this. There are certain views that I keep going back and forth on. Like, for example, tokenism, right? Uh, it's the word itself is so annoying. Like, nobody likes tokenism, but there are some days where I feel that can we at least have tokenism as a start? Can we have a side character, right? Then we can go and critiquing it, saying that why are trans people always side characters and why are they not lead characters? And I mean, I'm saying that there's a hierarchy to what we are trying to do. So there are days when I feel that I don't care. Like, have your token character. At least it will get some visibility to, like, but there are, of course, also days where I feel that this is absolute bullshit. Like, why are we always, like, side characters and whatnot, right? So I feel, especially in terms of communication or advertising, it depends on what story you want to tell and how do you want to tell it, because I think those matter a lot. Because when we're talking about inclusion and representation, most people have the 30-second film in mind, right? Ki I need to see a visual representation of, like, people who look like me, who are like me, and whatnot. And I get it that that is a very important aspect as well. But I feel that we've moved a little bit beyond just the visual representation. I feel representation should be at every level. Okay, and then once you do that as a practice, then the visual inclusion will also happen as a default. To demonstrate this is a case that I really loved, done in India, called Words of Pride. I don't know if you've seen it. Disney Star had done it, right? Simple insight that there are so many languages in India. Every language has more slurs for gay and trans people and intersex people than words of respect. What a problem to have and what a problem to solve, right? Now, are you going to solve this problem with a TVC? You're not, right? So I feel that that becomes very important. What problem are you trying to solve? What conversation you're trying to have? And then what the medium becomes for it, right? So in this particular case, it was completely co-created with the community. There were different languages which were used. Asking people, right, what is a word that represents you? Because there is no literal translation of transgender in, say, Bengali or Marathi or whatever, right? I mean, we have random words like naput, suckling, and whatnot, and these don't represent us, right? So vocabulary becomes such an important conversation point of what vocabulary are we having. Because when we look at media, like especially the OTT side of things, the film side of things, there's so many slurs which are used just as punchlines. Trans people are used as, like, caricatures, punchlines. And I feel that is also a part of media and communication and how we are curating culture on the screen, right? But then what is the alternative? You have more slurs. Even if it's a non-trans character, you use a trans slur. So then let's create a bank of respectful words that filmmakers can use the next time they make a film, so that OTT, the world of OTT, can have more respectful language when you're showing trans and queer people. So it's a very holistic idea in terms of what you're trying to do. Now, I get that there might be that one copywriter out there who has that urge to write a trans character and have a very emotional thing, and with genuine intent. I'm not trying to put them down or make fun of them. It's with genuine intent that somebody feels like they want to talk about the story for whatever reason, put some emotion into it. Coming from their experience, maybe they've had some friends, maybe they've read something, and that's absolutely fine if you do it for yourself. I would say don't share stories which are not yours to share. And I feel I'm very clear about that. And the one rule that I would apply, right, that would help people, that if it's like a group of 5 men who are doing a Women's Day campaign, the least you would do, there's nothing wrong with 5 men doing a Women's Day campaign. Okay. There's absolutely nothing. I would encourage more of it. But I'm saying that the least you would do is that you would check, right? Ki, are we doing the right thing? Are we like, is this even important? Is this an issue? There would be a basic check that you would do, right? So I feel it is that, right? If you have the urge to write the trans characters or whatever, do write them, but have some sensitivity towards it. But don't tell stories which are not yours to tell. That's the only thing that I would sort of say, because it's so tropified, right? Ki, you just lose nuance out of it, and then everybody becomes painted in one sort of like way. So I feel that everybody has a different story, and I feel that trans, queer, intersex, gay, lesbian, everybody socio-cultural, like, identities that we have, they should tell their own stories. I would encourage as many people to create a equal space, right? But I feel it depends on what you're trying to solve. If your fight is about, if your brief is a 30-second TVC, then probably don't write a trans character. But if you genuinely want to do something for the community, then try to think about what the problems are. Because I feel ki, there is a law aspect to things, there's a legal aspect to things, and there's a social aspect to things. And I feel advertising can bridge that gap. Like, communication, media, culture, storytelling can bridge that gap. Like, this 377 is read down. But do we have social acceptance? Do we, like, do we have, are queer people safe still? Cities are a very different thing, but like, the rest of the country, like, has the change in law really translated to a change in behavior in society? So I feel that has not happened yet. And that's the role of that creative person sitting in an agency. If they really want to do something really good for the community, then look at these gaps, right? Vocabulary, what a potent thing to solve, right? I mean, look at these problems. Don't look at that emotional story of, I wasn't accepted, now I'm accepted, yay, right? I mean, we're done with that trope. Because I will feel good for 5 minutes, right? Ki, wow, what a story, I have tears in my eyes. But then I'll go back to the same system which is messing with me, right? So change the system, change, like, things at a fundamental level. That is the kind of inclusion we need. Everything else is great. It's your 15 minutes of whatever, it will be polarized. Some people will like it, they won't like it. It will be trending for 2 hours, but the system will not change. So I would say look at that. Like, how can you get into it? And it's not just for creative people, it's for brands as well, right? Because creative people don't do these things, or agencies don't do these things for themselves. They're doing it for the brands. So there should be a genuine intent from the brand itself to, like, be open to doing things at a very fundamental level, and also begins on the brand side, right? How many queer people are you hiring, right? And this is not some percentage you're trying to tick off, right? I mean, like, I just want 3% people just for like some diversity inclusion thing. Are you really, like, working with queer, there's so many content creators out there, so many makeup artists, or especially in production and whatnot, right? Working with the community also becomes very important. Not just, like, the online space, but in the corporate space also. Like, now at least I've had a few friends who are entering the DEI space, and there is some visibility. Although last I read, the visibility of trans people in the formal workforce is less than 6%, right, in India. I mean, you can check up on the facts, but this is the last I read up on it. It's horrible. So I feel that it's all a very fundamental question. It starts with hiring more people, right, within your own system, because then you wouldn't feel the need to consult with someone. You already have someone, you're already co-creating with them. There's some account manager who's a gay man, there's some art director who's an intersex person. So you already have that representation, and therefore you don't need, like, to especially reach out to, like, someone. And if you're co-creating, then you're already sort of consulting with them. So I feel it's more of that. But yes, don't do the whole thing of I've written a film, I just want to do a sensitization check. That gets a little like, if it's good, then you're good. But if it's bad, then I was like, what? So it just gets a little weird sometimes.